Hi everyone, and welcome to the channel. So how is everyone doing today? Hope everyone is having a good day. Anyway, I think I'm gonna start fasting again tomorrow for 3 or 4 days. Time to do a cleanse and purge for the winter. It's always a good thing to clean up the system every once in a while. But yeah, we all have these. We all say this phrase at least once throughout our lives, right? I mean, I think most people do anyway. I'd be surprised if people don't say this at least once throughout their lives. And what is that? Is that phrase that life sucks, right? I uh, I sympathize with all of you if you're one of the people that has ever uttered that phrase. But here's the thing: it doesn't. You're looking at it the wrong way. And as long as you see it that way, you're doing yourself a disservice because that's that's not the right way of looking at life at all. Because no matter how bad things can be sometimes, and they are, sometimes, yeah, I know. We've all been there. No one is a stranger to these things. What happens is at some point we're going to figure out that all of these things that at one point we looked at it from a negative perspective, certain things that happen in our lives, right? That perhaps we don't like remembering them, or perhaps we remember them too much all the time. That's never a good thing. I've talked about this before many, many times, to stop living in the past. And the same thing goes to the future, because the only thing that matters is the here and the now. That's what matters. Nothing else matters. But I've talked about that before, so there's no need to revisit that at this very moment. But yeah, I used to be one of those people. For a long time in my life, I was always saying these things. Oh yeah, life sucks. Life sucks. I think it's much better, instead of saying life sucks, because it does not. I can tell you that. Just look at it from the way of acceptance, and be like, that's just life. Because yeah, that's life. That's what life is about. Life is about, we come here to go through this series of events of our own making almost every single time. These events that happen throughout our lives, they are of our own making, except for a very small percentage of certain things that we do not have control over it. But that's a very limited amount of things, and it's almost negligible, I would say. So this series of events, that some people may even call it unfortunate series of events, sometimes we've all been there, we've all done that, right? This All of these things that happen throughout our lives, whatever it is that they are the result of our actions and decisions. I've talked about this before as well, right? So as we take certain actions, make certain decisions throughout the span of our lifetime, whatever they are, there's always going to be a a result for those decisions and those actions, a reaction, an outcome. And whether the outcome is good or bad, that part does not matter. What matters is what you've learned from those outcomes. We all have our own journey, right? We all go through our own things here. And hold on a minute. Let me take a sip of my coffee here. These things, they all happen for a reason. Regardless of the fact that most of the time we are the reason ourselves. This is what we have to understand. Blame nobody else but you. And it's not about blaming, it's about, and I think I have a whole video where I talk about this, and I say, stop blaming yourself. That's the title of the video. Go watch that one if you haven't. I talk about this because we tend to blame ourselves. And although, yeah, we are the ones to be blamed, it's not about blaming. It's about accepting the result and the outcome of our actions and decisions gracefully, and then being thankful for the outcome and the result of those decisions, whatever they were, good or bad. Every single person on the face of this earth has their fair share of trials, tribulations, obstacles, battles they had to fight. This is what life is about, right? We all go through that. Some people may have it easier than others based on the dharma that they've had from a past life, perhaps, but their lives are their own. You're not here to compare yourself to anybody else. That's another mistake that we all do. We're not here to be compared to others. We're not here to compete with others. Understand that nobody else is better than you. No matter what, we're all the same here. We're all part of this creation. So at our birth, we are all given the same tools to be able to thrive and succeed in our lives. The question is, you may be given the tools, but did you learn how to use them? Do you know how to use them? That's the question. So once you learn how to use these tools that are given to every single one of us at birth, we learn how to use them properly. I've said this before, we were all born to be great. We're all born into greatness. It doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter if you had money or not. None of these things matter. That's the power of the human spirit. We have it all within us. Everything you need. Everything you can possibly need. It's not outside of you. It's not outside of your inner temple for you to be chasing. It's within you. And once you understand that and you embrace that, then you're going to start winning. It's that simple. It's all about perspective, my friends. It's all about perspective. Before I forget, if you like the channel, Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification, whatever. I usually upload every day, but sometimes I take a few breaks here and there. Sometimes we need a break. So what happens is we all go through things, right? And I've had my fair share of things that I've had to deal with. If you guys are familiar with my channel, you will know because I share pretty much almost everything, you know, on here of things that I've had to deal with and stuff that happened in my life, you know, being cheated on, betrayals, this and that, whatever. The list is long. But the point is, if there were any way that I could go back to change any of these things, for let's say I was given, this magic genie that could allow me to go back and change some of the things that I have done, I wouldn't change a thing. Because without all of these things happening, the way they happen, how they happen, and when they happened, I wouldn't be this person that is here talking to you guys today. I didn't grow into this better version of myself by living an easy life. I don't even know what you would categorize that as an easy life, but I guess, like I said, some people out there may have a less tumultuous life, perhaps due to dharma from a past life. It happens, people do a lot of good things sometimes in one of their past lives, and then when they come back, it's gonna be maybe smooth sailing for the most part, but it's never gonna be perfect. It never is. This reality that we live in here, this material reality that's not even material. We talked about this. This is all like some form of construct, simulation of our own making, whatever you want to call it. It's never going to be perfect. There are flaws. Environmental flaws that have been created throughout multiple generations of social structures and systems that have been put into place that made it be flawed in a lot of ways. So this environment here that we live in, it's very challenging sometimes because there is no easy it's hard to explain this. How do I put it? The environment itself is a challenging environment. And yeah, if you put your mindset into this permanent state of survival, it's what I call it, survival mode. It's not going to make things better for you at all. It's only going to worsen. So that's not what it's about. I've talked about this before as well. That's not what it's about. Just, we need to learn to accept, like I said, the outcome and the results of our decisions and actions. That is all there is to it. Because once we learn how to do that, everything changes and becomes so much better and lighter. It feels like you took the weight of the world off your shoulders. And I'm not kidding here, guys. I'm serious. So we need the challenges, then the things that happen, difficulties, whatever you want to call it, struggles, the things that happen in our lives from the day we're born up until this point, all of these things that happen, things that are still happening, whatever they are there to push the envelope, to make you better. Life and this universe that we live in, they don't throw anything at us that we cannot handle. And if you're one of the people that have had a life like that your whole life or most of your life, or it was always challenge after challenge and obstacle after obstacle, I know how it is. Trust me. Like I said, this is not my first rodeo, okay? But people who usually have what you would categorize as the harder lives, those are the people that matter the most, because they wouldn't be throwing these things at you. You wouldn't be throwing these things at yourself without knowing that you will overcome them, because you do. After all, you're still standing, are you not? If you resonate with what I'm saying here, think about it. Let's say you're one of those people. Perhaps you are. Chances are you are, if you're here listening to what I say. Well, all these things happened because it had to be the way it was. It wouldn't happen any other way. And it made you a better person, and you know that in your heart. I don't have to tell you. But I can remind you, because sometimes we forget these things ourselves all the time. Sometimes, most of the time, we don't give ourselves enough credit for not only surviving some of the things that happen to us psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, but then overcoming them and becoming much better after all is said and done. So, this is really all I wanted to say. So, life doesn't suck. That's a misunderstanding. That's all that is. It's like a lack of perspective of looking at it is what it really is. We come here to become better, to learn, to grow, to evolve. And this I talk about this all the time. This is not news here on this channel, right? And that's why, life is good. I even have a video that I talk about that. That's the title of the video. Go look that one up. So, yeah, I think this is a good way to end here. And I'll catch you all tomorrow on my next video. Until then, take care, my friends. Peace.